Welcome back to another edition of the White Sox here on OOTP 25, and as you can see, we are approaching the 2028 trade deadline as we just split a 4-game set at the Detroit Tigers, and now it is July 28th. So we are going to take a look here at our team's stats, and once again, the major strength for us is the pitching. We have incredible defense, incredible pitching. We're allowing the least runs in the American League. Lots of 1s and 2s you see all across here, and then 5th in strikeouts, 9th in walks. That's the trade-off we have right now with our staff. But, you know, a very, very effective staff we have right now. We're not giving up any home runs either. And then the offense just continues to not really be able to be the best. Like, I feel like we have good pieces, but we also have definitely, like, a top-heavy lineup, and some of our towards the back end of the lineup sort of guys are just not really what we would ideally want in place. So I think that is what we should be doing here this deadline, is trying to acquire a hitter or two that can help us down the stretch here. Maybe somebody with term, probably just going to lean towards somebody who's a rental, because that's just what I usually do here at the deadline. But as you can see, you know, the hitting is the problem. We do have Walker Jenkins, 4 days left on his fractured foot. He will be back soon, so that should be a big bump to the offense here. Big bump to the offense here, because right now we have Ramos hitting second, Montgomery, who's been not the best, in third, and then Tobias hitting cleanup. But ideally, we would want something where Ramos is probably hitting third, maybe Jenkins is hitting second, and we're able to drop Montgomery down a bit, because Tobias has been hitting a ton of home runs for us this season, driving in a bunch of runs, and you know, just makes sense to me for him to be hitting cleanup for us. But yeah, so adding a bat, like, obviously we're like first base, catcher. We're not going to get rid of Montgomery. Obviously, he's going to keep playing. Miller is locked in at shortstop. Head, I doubt we're going to be able to find a center fielder better than him, but like, and he's also been decent enough for us this season, so he's probably going to keep playing there. Zavala's been good for us, so I'm not like desperate to move him out of the left field, right field spot, whatever we end up keeping him in once Jenkins comes back. But I think that outfield is the thing that we should be trying to upgrade here, trying to possibly push either Zavala or Bouchard. If we just acquire one, it's probably Bouchard, but then again, Jenkins comes back, so Jenkins will take this spot. So yeah, I guess kind of pushing Zavala to the bench and Bouchard to AAA would be the move, and then like maybe McLean goes down to, I don't know, we'll have to figure it out, but I think acquiring an outfield bat here is the move for us. Possibly a lefty, like a lefty bat, so like Bouchard could still come in against left-handed pitching, perhaps. That could be an option for us. We'll have to see what's out there, but I definitely outfield bat. Maybe second baseman, since we still haven't been able to figure out this position. Javier here, Magellan, whatever this guy's name is. We called him up. He's only gotten 8 games, or 9 games total, 8 starts. He's been terrible in those 8 starts, 9 games, but, you know, obviously very small sample size. He's playing every second game with Gonzalez, as we continue to not be able to figure out the second base spot. But, yeah, you know, either second base or corner outfield is what we are looking to acquire here. Maybe, possibly, like another backup catcher sort of player to spot Caro some games here and there. But, you know, I'm not exactly desperate to do that, just because, like, Siegler's been horrible, but, like, I don't really give a shit what our backup catcher is doing. But maybe I should care more. But, yeah, so, you know, that's the plan. Outfielder or second baseman, maybe both, and then maybe like a backup catcher type to spot Caro some games here and there. But just taking a quick look here immediately at the all batters list, and I'm seeing this man jump out to me: expiring free agent Chicago native Jack Sawinski on the Texas Rangers, who I know have been good in this. And, I mean, they're below 500. They're second place, but they're below 500. They're 5.5 out of the wild card. Like, it's not totally not... It's like, it's feasible they would want to trade a guy like this. And he's big-time Jack Sawinski, bring the local kid back. That could be an option for us. That's definitely intriguing to me. Chase McCormick, probably less intriguing because of the gap. Trent Grisham. You know, I mean, like, are the Dodgers? There's no way the Dodgers are bad. The Dodgers are actually not competing. They're 52 and 51, 10 games back in the division, and they have multiple teams in front of them here for the wild card. So weird year for the Dodgers. But I mean, Trent Grisham is a good defender, obviously in center field, but his bat is not in this what it is in real life at the moment. He's not hitting 30 home runs, and also we have Head, so like he's not going to be a huge upgrade from Head. They're basically like the exact player right now when it comes to their win total. So like Sawinski's definitely the lead guy here for me in the outfield. Jamie Westbrook probably not. Some 45s here that I would probably not really love getting, but maybe there's somebody in there if we dive a little deeper. And then when it comes to like second base, Jazz Chisholm, who's not an expiring free agent and also just isn't that great in this universe. Paul DeYoung, he's also hurt. So yeah, Paul DeYoung's not going to be the guy we're going after. Luis Arias, probably not going to be the guy we're going after. He's not even really somebody who can play second base. Westbrook can't, I mean, yeah, I mean, the range is iffy. I'd rather just play one of our guys there, to be honest. And then, like Bo Bichette's playing first base now. Andy's bad. So yeah, it doesn't really look like there's any second base options that are really like jumping out to me. Like I don't want to trade for Willie Castro. I'd rather just play our guy there. Same sort of thing with Brendan Donovan. I wouldn't really want to trade for him. 50 range at second base. Keston Hiura is a first baseman and don't really want to trade for him. Nick Gordon's not really jumping off the page to me. Ha-Seong Kim isn't really jumping off the page to me. Marcus Semien is an expiring free agent and can't play second base anymore. So, nothing really out there on the block when it comes to second baseman. All right, so we're going to go ahead and make this Jack Sawinski trade. He's an expiring free agent. Probably not going to bring him back if I had to imagine, but, who knows what happens. So Jack Sawinski on an expiring contract, and we are going to be sending them Richard Shabana. He is one of our Jobug prospects that we have who, not the greatest. He's an outfielder who doesn't have the greatest range. It's mainly slap hitty when it comes to the contact. And then he's got like a average-ish rest of his hitting. So, I'm not, in love with this guy. So I just said make it work. And that was one of the guys that popped up. So I was like, hey, sure, we'll give you this guy. You'll give us half a season of Jack Sawinski. We will do that. Lock it in. So I actually forgot that we had Rafael Marchand on a minor league deal. So I'm actually not going to go and acquire a 45 catcher because I was going to pick up Jake Rogers, but I was like, why not just have this guy as like our third catcher option? Because I totally forgot that we had him because he had a hyperextended knee, but he's coming back soon here in 3 days. So we're not going to be acquiring another catcher here. And I don't think we're going to acquire a second baseman either because there's just really nothing out there that's interesting. So I'm thinking that the only move we are making here is Jack Sawinski being acquired to help our offense here, and we shall see how it goes. All right, so we've made one acquisition that's not technically a trade, but I forgot I did this the last time I got off. I made a claim before I saved. RJ Dabovich here was with the San Francisco Giants previously. I believe he was drafted. No, he was 2020. He was a 2020 fourth-round pick by the Giants out of Arizona State. And he's developed into this really, really nasty reliever. And for whatever reason, even though he's been good for them, they were like, let's waive this guy. Because he has no options, and we would rather send down this guy than anybody else on the roster for some reason. So we claimed him. He's 29. And now we've got this guy just ready to shred in our bullpen here. We sent down Noah Cameron, so Trevor Rogers goes back to being the lefty here in this crop of guys. We had him on avoid high leverage mop-up, but now he's back in a middle relief role. Even though he's been terrible for us this season, we're going to hope that he can figure it out here as the second half continues, because we need him to. Little check-in here, folks. Things are going quite well. It's August 26th. We have not quite gotten to the point where the 2 extra call-ups come up, but We have been playing some really good ball as of recently. We're back up into first place. For a bit there, we were in third place. You can see here, top 3 teams, very, very tight race. Guardians are a half game out. Twins are a game out. We were the third place team for a bit here, but as you can see, we've been going on a run. We had a 7-game win streak, starting off with this saving the sweep here against the Angels, rather, and then sweeping Baltimore, sweeping Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, and then unfortunately dropping this first game to Kansas City. But yeah, W7 gets us back into first place here. We've made a couple changes. The lineup here, Mogollon just could not figure it out at second base. Gonzalez is now just the backup. Ryan Burroughs. Nothing about this guy's page or his profile is like, this guy is going to be a good hitter, but he's been tearing it up the past couple seasons in the minor leagues, so I'm like, why not give this guy a chance? We've given him a chance, and he's been, so far, very small sample size, obviously, but he's been the most productive second baseman we've had. So Ryan Burroughs as a captain, good speed profile. He's going to get some time here at the big league level for us at second base, at least for now. And then also Walker Jenkins is back in right field. So Bouchard and Zavala become backup outfielders. Sawinski's obviously in left. Unfortunately, Sawinski has been quite terrible here for us. That's just fantastic. And then we also ended up moving on from Trevor Rogers. We just ate like the $2 million that was left on his contract. He was just so poor for us. Let's see if we can find him here. Trevor Rogers, he's already been picked up by the Yankees. He hasn't even pitched for them yet, but they picked him up. He's on their team. I don't know if he's just sitting in waivers for them or if he is actually in their big league team right now. But I have to imagine he's actually in the big league team. But anyways, Trevor Rogers no longer on our team because he was just not pitching well, even in August. I mean, it was just terrible. Just a terrible, terrible run for him this season. And we just wanted to get some of our other guys up. Right now, Jaden Barfield is up in our bullpen here to take that lefty spot. He's not gotten off to the best start here in his big league career. We're hoping he can figure it out as the second half goes on and he can, settle into place here. Once the rosters open up a bit, one of the guys we are going to call up is going to be Caden Campbell here as a lefty to get into the bullpen. He's been lights out for us out of Louisville, 16th round pick in 2025. He's had back-to-back really good seasons in the minor leagues, and now he's going to be coming up to the big leagues here once we hit that extra September call-up here on September 1st. Now that is brutal. Jacob Tobias, who has been one of our best power hitters all season long, broken elbow right before September call-ups, 7 months. 32 home run season here. I mean, just brutal. Just absolutely brutal. All right, folks, another check-in here. It is September 25th. We are winding down here at the 2028 season. As you can see, lots of red here in this month of September. Overall, 10-11. We had an 18-9 month of August, 10-16 July, now 10-11 here in September. The pitching is still doing its thing. The hitting has been a little bit better. You can see here, this used to be, I think it was like 10th at one point. Now it's 7th. Some of these numbers have improved. I think some of them have even gotten worse. I'm not really sure, but the hitting has definitely not been as good as we would hope. But still in a position. We have indeed clinched a playoff spot. We just did that on the 19th here of September. We have clinched a playoff spot, but we do not actually have where we're going to be clinched yet. We're 4-6 in our last 10. The Twins are 5-5. And it's, all 3 of these teams have clinched playoff spots. Who's going to actually win the division here? As we have 2 series left in the season. We have versus Toronto after this off day here on the 25th that we're on right now. And then we have versus Kansas City, who is a not good team. They're dead last in the Central. Toronto's dead last in the East. Our schedule could not be any more favorable for us. We have to win these 2 series and secure this division top spot because I do not want to be dealing with the wild card. Oh my god. So we win the first game 6-0, but then Ryan Burroughs, who's been our only successful second baseman this season, is on the IL now for 3 weeks with hamstring tendonitis, and that's just fantastic stuff. Alright, so we don't sweep, but we do win the series. We take the first game 6-0. That was a Foley and Manning combined game. Just shut them down between Foley, Manning, and Dobovich as the offense puts up 6 runs thanks to 3 runs driven in by Brian Ramos on his 46th home run. Was a 3-run home run. Montgomery doubled, Burrows doubled. We actually have Ceddanne Rafaela up on the big league club right now, and he's actually been quite decent for us in limited sample size, obviously, but he had a double this game, contributed. And then in game 2, we win 2-0 as Walker Jenkins gets 2 hits. He goes 2 for 4, drives in 2 runs, both runs on the day for us, with a 2-run home run, his 20th of the season. Tanner Houck goes 6 1/3 scoreless. Jeremy Gonzalez comes in and goes 2 2/3 scoreless, as that's what shuts him down. And then in the 3rd game of the set, we drop it 4-1. Santucci goes 6, strikes at 10, gives up 3 runs, as the offense just is not able to do anything. Ramos homered, that was all we did on the day. This is crazy, folks. We've won the first 2 games of this set against Kansas City, 6-2, as Jeffrey Springs went 5 innings in the bullpen. An inning from Kelly, who recently is called up. Jeremy Gonzalez goes 2 innings. Liager goes a 1/3 of an inning. Taylor goes a 1/3 of an inning. Campbell goes a 1/3 of an inning. Don't know how that works out, but that is what happens. Campbell gets the save, and we win 6-2, like I said. And just a lot of pinch hitting. This wasn't even an extras. This was a 9-inning game. We had a 5-run 8th inning. Mogollon homer. That's crazy. Just weird contributors all around. Then there was the 8-0 win the next day. McDougal goes 7 innings scoreless, and then Barfield goes 2 scoreless in relief. And then on the offensive side of things, Sawinski doubles, Caro doubles, Jenkins hits a home run, Caro hits a home run in an 8-0 rout. And then even with this good play, we have one last game of the season, and we are tied here for first place with the Minnesota Twins. Both of us are 91 and 70 on the season. I believe it's the head-to-head is what would be the tiebreaker if we don't separate after this game. I mean, right now it has us listed as the top team and not the wild card, although it has us as both, but it has us listed here. So I'd have to assume that we have the tiebreaker over the Twins, but I mean, we're not trying to leave it up to chance here. We're trying to win this fucking game and get into the goddamn playoffs as a number 1 seed, but we would be the 2 seed in the division if we win this. So we're not trying to be that 3 seed, be the division winner in the wild card. We're trying to be that number 2 seed here, get that first round bye, just sit pretty in that DS, and just await whoever is there for us. But let's see here against the Kansas City Royals. And it's an absolute rout, folks. 14-3. The Chicago White Sox get it done. ERA crown for Tanner Houck. Most pitching wins for Matt Manning. I believe that probably includes this game too. And the home run champion, Brian Ramos. All here on the south side of Chicago. 14-3. 2-hit day for Caro, Ramos, Mogollon, Head, Rafaela. 1 hits for Zavala, Sawinski, Gonzalez, Walker Jenkins, the only player on the team who goes hitless on the day. Sawinski had a double. Gonzalez doubled. Zavala doubled. Head hit a home run. Brian Ramos had 2 home runs to push his season total to 49. Mogollon homered, and even Rafaela homered, his first of the campaign in his limited time for us. And then Foley with the opener. Manning gets his 19th win of the season as a follower, and then Younger and Banks close it out for us in the 14-3 victory, as Banks actually struggled down the stretch here. You can see, not a great season for him. We actually moved him into a not-stopper role, so that's definitely worrying for him, but nonetheless, 92 wins for the Chicago White Sox. The Twins also won their final game, so it says that we're still in the wild card, I guess. No, it has us as the bye. So yeah, we have the bye. The Twins are the wild card team. Us and the Sox. The 2 Sox teams are your division series teams. Your first round byes, your 1-2 seeds in the American League. And then in the National League, it is the Brewers and the Braves. in that side of the tree. But we have done it. I think I said preseason that our goal was to finally get that 90 win total, and we just barely got it. 92 wins, as we were not -4 in the Pythagorean. We were projected 96 wins. We'll take 92 and the second seed in the American League, absolutely. As we go ahead and take a look at the, I could have just went to, what am I doing? I could have just went right here. We go ahead and take a look at our team stats page. End up 7th in runs scored and 1st in runs allowed. That's 738 scored to 604 allowed, and obviously the pitching was just the highlight of the team, as we expect here on the Jersey Born channel. 1st in ERA, 1st in starters ERA, 2nd in bullpen, 1st in runs allowed, 3rd in WAR, 1st in hits allowed, opponent's average, BABIP, 3rd in home runs allowed, top 5 in base on balls, 7th in strikeouts, and then the best defense in the American League when it comes to defensive efficiency and zone rating. And then on the offensive side of things, like I said, 7th in runs scored, not the greatest, but also, it's good enough to get you to the playoffs when you've got a good pitching staff like this. We would like to see this improve over the next couple seasons, but for now, we will take it. As only 12th in batting average, not a lot of hits going on. 12th in hits, 12th in batting average. Not exactly a team that gets a ton of hits here, but I guess we do a lot of situational hitting. We do a lot of getting on base. We're 6th in OBP, 7th in slugging, 6th in OPS, 4th in WAR, 6th in WOBA. Decent amount of home runs, walking a ton. This team walks a ton. We have a lot of OBP guys on the team, and then we stole a decent amount of bags and had decent base running this year, because I did actually take it up a bit to really go all in on the aggressive base running and the stealing bases, and then we're kind of just locked into this because Sergio Santos believes that we should be bunting a ton. But I'm not against bunting when we have a team like this where we don't have the greatest offense, and I would usually take up the bunting anyways. But we're fine with what it is. As let's take a look at what this team actually did here. On the offensive side, we'll start things off. 6 WAR season for our first baseman, Brian Ramos, a 163 WRC+, 27 doubles, and 49 home runs. Drove in 130 runs, scored 103 runs. And then, like I said, the most impressive thing about some of our big bats is that they don't strike out. Brian Ramos, 11.5 walk percent to a 17.6 strikeout rate. I mean, just a phenomenal player. A phenomenal player. That's basically 3 straight 6-win seasons for him. Leads the league in RBI back-to-back years. First time leading the league in home runs and slugging this season. Got a good chance at the MVP. I think last year he was runner-up, if I remember correctly. Brian Ramos here trying to really he's carrying our team. That's what he does. Edgar Caro puts up a 5-win season, 128 WRC+, 38 doubles, 15 home runs. Another guy who walks a ton, does not strike out, and actually stole us a good amount of bags this year. 14 swipe bags, even 10 for Ramos, with only 4 caught, 3 caught for Caro, as the 369 OBP there in that top spot in our lineup. And then we've got, wait a minute, why is this guy not here? Why is Zavala not listed? We'll go through that in a second. But yeah, Noah Miller, 2-win season, not a good hitter as we know, but a very, 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 very good defender. Puts up an 18 ZR at that shortstop position, as he's just elite defensively. Hudson Head puts up a 2-win season for similar reasons. Sort of a Dylan Head type season for him. 80 WRC+, 2 wins, not the greatest bat, but he does put together an 11 ZR. And solid year for him defensively and just overall in general. Colson Montgomery, definitely a down year for him. He just, I don't know, weird career for him so far, where in 2024 he was really, really good. 2025 he was not good. And then back-to-back seasons of being good. And then this year he was, once again, not great. So, weird year for Colson Montgomery. Walker Jenkins, weird year for him too. Spent some time on the IL with a fractured foot. He also had a strained abdomen. Oh, this was last season. So it was a fractured foot this season, and spent 5 weeks on the IL. And then just overall, the second half was not great for him. He was really, really good in the first half, and then came back from the injury, had a decent August, but then September really was not kind to Walker Jenkins, as he finishes with a barely league average WRC plus at a 1.4 WAR. 21 home runs, 21 doubles for the right fielder. Jack Sawinski was just not good for us. Simple as that. Really just not a good player whatsoever. Probably not even going to be on the postseason roster if I had to imagine, because he's just not it, unfortunately. Could not play defense for us in the corner. Could not hit for us in the corner. You can't do it. Can't win with him. What's the Mike Singletary quote? One of my favorite ones. I say it's one of my favorite ones. I can't even quote the goddamn thing. Can't win with him. Can't win with him. And then Jacob Gonzalez continues to not be able to figure out second base, but Mogollon here figured it out towards the end. So Mogollon is going to be our second baseman here heading into the postseason. Rafaela is going to be on our postseason roster too, as he was just kind of a spark plug for us down the stretch. Siegler, backup catcher, who cares? And then Bouchard, not exactly the season we were expecting from him, but, whatever. And then as far as some of the guys who are, for whatever reason, not listed here, Burrows was good. He had 145 plate appearances, 2 weeks on his hamstring tendonitis. If we advance in the postseason, maybe he's back on the roster. We'll have to see how things go. But, really good AAA and AA and back-to-back seasons for him. So maybe he's a piece for us. High leader, captain personality class. Could definitely be an interesting player to have for us in the infield. And then Samuel Zavala here. He was actually ended up having a really good season, a 2-win season. He ended up playing some DH for us down the stretch once Tobias got hurt. But Zavala, definitely a very solid player. 2 wins, 117 WRC plus, 17 doubles, 8 home runs. The counting stats weren't there, but overall, 776 OPS with the 2 wins. You will take that. Really, really high BABIP, but, it is what it is. And he's also a decent defender in both corners. So we will take that from Zavala. And then on the pitching side of things, first of all, let's see if they have anybody just not on the team. Weirdly, they have Foley not on the team. So let's just look at Foley real quick here. Not his best season, but he had a really good ERA. Not a great FIP, but overall still decent enough. I mean, the K- walk, horrible. What the hell happened here, Foley? Jesus. Not great there, but I mean, like an all-time low BABIP. 219 BABIP, that's crazy stuff. As the super opener, man, just very funny stat line he's had for us the 4 years he's been here in Chicago. He's a legend. He's a legend at this point. Jason Foley forever. And then as far as the rest of the pitching staff, we'll sort by WAR. Why not? Tanner Houck, 5 wins season. Probably going to win the Cy Young again. Is that going to be a 3rd straight Cy Young for Tanner Houck? Possibly. Puts together 210 innings, a 5-win year, a 151 ERA plus, and a 78 FIP minus. That's a league-leading 282 ERA, back-to-back seasons leading the league in ERA. Very similar BABIP to what he's had his whole career. I mean, Tanner Houck is phenomenal. You get these like really high movement, really high control with average stuff. I mean, that's really, really good stuff. I mean, you get to like 55 movement, like you're like the gap between 50 movement and 55 movement in this game is pretty steep. And 60 movement, that's just a whole nother level, obviously. So Tanner Houck, incredible pitcher. Santucci puts together a really good year for him as well. 4-win season, 132 WRC plus, 81 FIP minus. That's a 3 ERA and a 3 FIP as well. 31% strikeout, 32 if you round up, with a 20.8 K minus walk. And I believe that was his best season for us. He continues to improve for us, as this is his second full season in the rotation, as he just is a really, really good pitcher for us. So hell yeah, Jonathan Santucci. Grant Taylor in that stopper role was phenomenal. He was good for us in the rotation last year. Dropped down to a stopper role this year. Was just one of the best relievers in baseball. He might win the reliever of the year, if I had to guess, with this many innings and just this amount of WAR and just his ERA and everything. Just all around great year for Grant Taylor. And then Jeffrey Springs, as like our number 3 guy, puts together a 2-win season, 3 R WAR. Solid season for him. Give up a bit too many home runs, but it is what it is. And then Tanner McDougal, decent year for him, very similar to Jeffrey Springs, but a little bit less home runs, a little bit more walks. And then Matt Manning, decent year. He's a follower, puts up 159 innings, 99 FIP minus, 95 ERA plus, as he combines with Jason Foley. Pretty much every fifth day he's out there with Jason Foley. That's just what he is. Jeremy Gonzalez put together a decent year as a bulk reliever for us. He ended up being in the stopper role once Tanner Banks kind of lost that job. So the stoppers here towards the end of the season ended up being Gonzalez and Taylor, and then we had Liager, Campbell, and Kelly as the setup men down the stretch. But we'll figure out what this looks like heading into the playoffs. As Liager, like I said, really, really good. Or not like I said, but Liager, very, very good this season. A 1.21 ERA for a 3.52 ERA plus and a 65 FIP minus, which is a 2.79 FIP, 2.78 Sierra, 20.2 K minus walk with a 30.1 K percentage. I mean, just crazy year for Liager. Dobovich ended up figuring things out with us, or I guess somewhat. The walk just skyrocketed with him for whatever reason, and it's not like I'm telling him to pitch around or anything. He just, for whatever reason, just the walks went up a ton with us as opposed to what they were in San Francisco, but had a really good ERA here in Chicago. Hayden Younger was good in his role. Tanner Banks already talked about. Caden Campbell barely pitched, but we do like him heading into the postseason as he has that 55 movement that I mentioned I really like. And then also the nasty stuff, the fastball slider combo to go with it. Jaden Barfield ended up being pretty decent for us. He might be in the rotation next year, but for this postseason run, he is going to be in the bullpen. And then Jared Kelly also going to be in the bullpen here for us. Really, really good back-to-back seasons in the AAA rotation for him, as now he is in the bullpen for us. He could be a possible, probably not going to be a starter because he has 35 control, but definitely a guy we want to have in our bullpen here. And then quickly looking through the statistics around Major League Baseball, your batting average leader was Braden Montgomery of the Washington Nationals. He also led the league in home runs. So the National League home run leader was Montgomery and then Riley. Both of those guys had 50 plus, and then Ramos leading the American League with 49. Also third in ribbies overall. Austin Riley and Braden Montgomery are 1 and 2. Juan Soto, best OBP in the league, of course, on a bad Tigers team that does not make the playoffs. Braden Montgomery's all over this list. 7-win season, really exploded on the scene this year. Crazy stuff there. Ramos, 4th in slugging, 3rd in OPS. Julio with a 9-win season leads Major League Baseball. Vladdy and Braden Montgomery both have 190 hits, which leads their respective leagues. Warming Bernabel with 65 doubles, back-to-back leading the National League doubles for Warming Bernabel. Crazy development there for the Colorado Rockies. Total bases, you've got Ramos there in the top 5. You got Noah Miller with the most sack hits in baseball, 24. Only Nico Horner has 20 plus, or 20 as well. So Noah Miller with 24 leading the league. Ramos with the 4th highest ISO, the 3rd highest OPS, and the 3rd highest win probability added, as well as the 3rd highest WOBA. And then on the pitching side of things, we've got Bobby Miller leading the league in ERA, and then Nick Nastrini. He put together a really good season with the Milwaukee Brewers this year. We traded him this offseason along with Patrick Forbes. Or no, this was last year. Last year's trade deadline, we traded him for Bautista and Barlow, and he's turned into a really good player. You know, like I said, I always liked Nastrini. I always liked his ratings. I was like, there's no reason why his ratings can't be good, and he just never figured it out with us. As we saw, we look at his ratings, or his stats here. I mean, he got plenty of time to figure it out here in Chicago. He just never did, and then he goes to Milwaukee, and they figure it out there, because of course. So Nick Nastrini, 2nd ERA, and then the most wins, 19 for Matt Manning here. Saves leader was Brian Abreu with the Milwaukee Brewers. Paul Skeens now in Boston as they traded him at the deadline. Paul Skeens, the Boston, for Theo Gillen, who's a 50, Ben Garrett, who's a 50, David Carter, who's a 75, Delgado's a 50. I mean, yeah, they traded Skeens. They did get a haul for him, though, so, you know, at least they didn't trade him for nothing, as, you know, I guess it's bound to happen in this universe, but Paul Skeens now in Boston. Schwellenbach with 231. I mean, look at this. We got basically, you know, Schwellenbach, obviously former Atlanta Brave. You got 3 Braves players, because Logan Webb's in the Braves in this. And obviously Schwelbeck's not on the Braves, but I'm referring to him as like a Braves guy here in the top 3 with Max Fried here, who stuck around in Atlanta in this universe, and then Reed Detmers up here with the Chicago Cubs, and then Jackson Jobe. Santucci, 3rd in strikeouts. Love to see that. Also 1st in strikeouts per 9. Beautiful stuff. Whip, Tanner Houck is 4th. Tanner Houck is 4th in R-WAR. 2nd in opponent's average is Santucci. I didn't even realize he had a sub-200 average here. That's fantastic stuff. And then Nastrini, the only guy better than him in baseball. And then shutdowns, Grant Taylor with 42. And then Tanner Banks, despite having a not great season, was top 5 in shutdowns, mainly because he just pitches. We just use our relievers more than the AI does. The AI just refuses to have sort of stoppers like we do because they just love pitching guys 1 inning and having like guys with 50 innings pitched for a whole year. Whereas obviously we lean into the 35 stamina plus guys being able to be multi-inning relievers for us. And then on the fielding side of things, lots of these like counting ones, like who cares, the most putouts, sure, just playing a ton of games was Ramos. Same with double plays, total chances, games started, had the most in major leagues this season. Same with innings played. And then you got caught stealing percentage, Edgar Caro, top 3 in ERA as well. And then Ethan Salas is now arrived here as the framing king in Major League Baseball, while Patrick Bailey is right behind him. And then not Edgar Caro's brother, Jefferson Caro, in the top 3 there. I mean, I'm just seeing this name, and I'm immediately thinking Jesus Flores, the old catcher for the Washington Nationals, but it's not him. This is Juan Flores of the Los Angeles Angels in this universe. So one last look at the playoff tree here. The Chicago White Sox and Boston Red Sox are your Division 1-2 seeds, and then you've got the Orioles, Twins, Guardians, and Athletics duking it out in the wild card series, while on the National League side of things, it's the Brewers and the Braves as the 1-2 seeds, and then the Reds, Cubs, Dodgers, and D-backs are your wild card teams.